So the trailer for Creed 2 dropped today, or yesterday, but that's not the only thing. The newest X-Men movie, X-Men Dark Phoenix. Now, I was wondering if this movie was when it was going to come out, because I knew it was getting shot, I knew it was shot and everything, but there's all these like rumors about, you know, the Disney purchase and, you know, will this movie come out and all these different things, but we have a trailer for it. It's coming 2019, and I gotta say that X-Men Apocalypse, you know, looking back on it, was a bit of a letdown, but that's the movie that pretty much segues into this film, because it, you know, at the end of the film, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it, X-Men Apocalypse, Jean Grey taps into the Phoenix Force. So that's going to go into this movie. Now, I love the Dark Phoenix storyline from the comics. And I actually also love the X-Men, the animated series version. Both the Phoenix Saga and the Dark Phoenix Saga. That was all we talked about when I was a kid, when that show aired. It was huge. Will this movie be better than X3? Because X3 was the last time they tried to do this, and that's not a very well liked movie at all. Let's find out. Let's go ahead and break down the trailer for X-Men Dark Phoenix. There's Charles Xavier's School for the Gifted.
You think you can fix me?
Jean, you are not broken.
So it looks like, based on the fact that she's a little kid, which is it's interesting. So it looks like what they're doing here is similar to what they did in X3. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the comics, in the comics, the Phoenix Force is an actual entity. It's actually something that possesses people. At least it was in the original storyline. And when it comes to the X3 storyline, it was more so a power that Jean Grey had inside of her. Now, obviously, they can't diverge too far from X3 only because X3 does take place in the same universe, although a different timeline. However, it's interesting because in X3 we have Xavier and Magneto, played by Patrick Stewart, you know, Ian McKellen, and they are, you know, it's them. It's not these actors. It's not the first class actors. So I'm kind of wondering how they're going to go about telling the story, what changes they're going to make to it. It's really weird. This could actually end up being the final movie ever released in the X-Men universe. X-Force has been talked about, you know, of course, the you know, the sequel to Deadpool and you know, other movies like that. But this is probably going to be the last one now that the purchase with Disney's going through. But again, it's all going to get segued into the MCU most likely.
The mind is a fragile thing. Takes only the slightest tap to tip it in the wrong direction.
And again, it looks like they're going through for the same thing again. You know, this is all about what's in Jean Grey, not necessarily the Phoenix Force being its own entity. Like if you remember the comics, or even in the storyline in the TV series, they had all kinds of Marvel Cosmic stuff going on, like Lilandra and the Shi'ar Empire. I don't think we're going to get any of that here. And also in the original story, it was the Hellfire Club that kind of made her, you know, sort of tap into the Dark Phoenix power, especially in the animated series. We're not going to see the Hellfire Club because presumably because we already saw the Hellfire Club in First Class technically. So, we'll see.
Charles, what did you do?
I had to keep her stable. I protected her.
He had to keep her stable. So again, it could once again be the same storyline from X3 where Xavier had to shut off her mind and hide the Phoenix power.
From the truth?
You know, that right there is crazy. Look at that shot, yo. Like that. That's just a crazy scene right there. Take a look. Boom. Like that's, my God. Just from that camera angle and the way everything looked was just pretty impactful.
There's another word for that.
Love it. Love it so far.
I came looking for answers.
And there is Eric, of course. I'm so happy to see Magneto. He will always be in these movies no matter what. He's always going to be around. But what's his role going to be in this one?
You feel like you don't belong here. You don't.
You know, and that's kind of a weird thing to say. I wonder if Nightcrawler will show up. There's Cyclops.
I can't begin to comprehend what you are.
Good thing Quicksilver's in this movie, and Storm, which we kind of expected. Beast, you know, the old cast is back.
She's changing.
And what?
You know, of course, Mystique, which actually, it's weird because, you know, that is Jennifer Lawrence. It looks like Jennifer. I mean, that's Jennifer Lawrence. I thought she said she wasn't gonna do these anymore. I thought that Apocalypse was gonna be the last one, but I guess money talks. I have no idea.
I didn't come here looking for answers.
She's gonna go to Magneto, and I love how the X-Men here are wearing the classic. This is the classic '80s X-Men. It's not exactly the same thing, but it looks like the classic '80s X-Men costumes, the original X-Men costumes, not the ones we saw at the end of Apocalypse, which are more so the '90s costumes. But this movie does take place in the '90s supposedly, so we're gonna have this film and Captain Marvel both taking us back to the '90s.
I'm here looking for permission.
Jean.
Of course, her powers are going to be out of control.
She's all rage.
You know, but right now, the way it's looking is, it's just Jean Grey's telekinetic powers more so than Phoenix until she actually gets unleashed.
Pain. It's all coming out of us.
You know, that shot of I don't think that's the Blackbird. Actually, that is the Blackbird flying into space. So maybe we will see some Marvel cosmic stuff. Most of the cosmic characters are in the MCU. They're, you know, part of the Marvel Disney part of the tree. So not to say they won't be in this movie. I doubt they will be, but you know, they can still work around it probably because you have Quicksilver in both. But we'll see what they do. I think for X-Men, I think they could probably pull it off without necessarily needing like Thanos. I mean, I doubt they would need anything like that. And really, Thanos wasn't even a part of the Phoenix Saga. So if they're looking to make changes, I doubt it. There's like crazy rumors about this like going around that I'm not buying.
Jean lost control, but she's still our friend.
You know, I like that storyline. You know, Jean lost control, but she's still our friend. You know, and this movie really is going to be about Jean. Notice that these X-Men movies, they're either about Xavier or they're about Wolverine. That's what most of these films are about. Like, that's the story's about them. Even Apocalypse was really about Xavier, Magneto, more so than any individual X-Men. But this movie does seem to be, you know, Jean is the centerpiece here.
It's your fault, Charles.
The world is on the brink. I'm sorry I didn't stop it sooner.
You know, I like that we have bald James McAvoy there.
You're always sorry, Charles. And
Of course, he's back.
There's a speech, and nobody cares.
And of course, the question with all these movies is, what side is he going to be on? Because this dude changes sides every movie, right?
There's still hope.
There's definitely a different storyline than what was going on in X3. Not too different, but different characters, different X-Men. Beast is here with Magneto. So it looks like people are going to be switching sides here during the film. Nightcrawler.
They're right to fear me.
They have the power of Phoenix again. I mean, that scene right there looks like a funeral scene. This is like a funeral right here. So is someone gonna die? No, it's not Xavier this time. He died in X3, not this time.
I've seen evil.
But remember, in X-Men Days of Futures Past, Wolverine did go back in time and warn Xavier about Jean, presumably, and that's what changed the timeline and erased X3 from existence. So maybe this time this will tie into that movie and tie into what Wolverine told him, I hope, and then they'll figure out a better solution this time around. That's what I'm hoping to where it actually makes sense. Now that was cool. That's a cool shot right there. Check that out. That is a cool shot.
I'm looking at it now.
With the yellow eyes, they're never a good sign. Yeah, it's just straight up the Dark Phoenix. That's it. And that's it for the trailer. So, we'll see. I mean, after Days of Futures Past was amazing. Apocalypse, I liked the first time I saw it. Didn't age very well. It's got issues, but I don't think it's a terrible movie. This one could be either or. I can't really say. This Dark Phoenix storyline, it's just not going to be the same as any other entity. I don't think. It does seem more like the X3 story, but hopefully with some twists, and hopefully we'll get a different direction, you know, than what they did in X3. could be the final one. I mean, really, this could be the last X-Men movie we get until the MCU merger happens. But with time travel and alternate universe and things like that, they could always like canonize these into Marvel if they wanted to. There's been a lot of rumors about that too. So we'll see what Kevin Feige decides to do. But that's it. X-Men Dark Phoenix. What do you think? Are you excited for the film? Let me know. Leave a comment. Thanks for watching this trailer breakdown, and we'll talk soon.